All right, guys, we are back. It is Saturday morning. We are in the shop. We've got everything kind of cleaned up here and got everything mounted like we went through. And now we're going to go ahead and make these braces here that are going to hold this guy up in place. So what I've gone ahead already on here is I've gone ahead and cut some Coosa board, and I've used some West System 610 epoxy, and I've epoxied these two pieces together. So I've got a nice little edge that this will sit on here for a nice little lip. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys out of the way while we go ahead and get some of this other stuff ready to roll. So you guys might be asking, hey, you did this in Starboard, why are you making that out of Coosa board? That's personal preference. I've been using Coosa board for about, 20 plus years now. The stuff is just awesome. If you have wood on your boat and the wood has rotten away, gotten moisture in it, compromised, whatever, this has been my go-to for, like I said, sad to say, well over 20 years now. Stuff's just awesome. It's, I jokingly call it ground up bay liners. It is basically a composite board. It's available in different densities and different strengths. My go-to is always Blue Water 26. It's what I use engine bed stringers in. I'm not worried about weight on things, and I want it to be extra strong. Way overkill in this application. I realize it, but you buy it in a 4x8 sheet, and I'd rather have heavy duty version of this for other projects I've got, so that's why we did it. Then we kind of, I don't know if it's going to come up on the board here or not, or camera rather, but this is kind of a cutaway section of it for you guys right there, and you can kind of see we've gone ahead and made an L on it. But if I go ahead and try and twist on this thing, when it pulls away from the epoxy, I've actually pulled away from the Coosa board itself, not the actual joint right there. So that's just from some 610 West System epoxy. Stuff works awesome, glues together, you clamp it and you let it sit for a couple hours. A little colder here, so it took a couple extra hours. We were able to make that happen. But now we've got to go ahead and clean this up. Nice thing with Coosa board here is you don't have to paint it, you don't have to gel coat, you don't have to do anything with it. You can just mount this up like this and it's totally fine. It's not going to absorb water, it's not going to go bad, especially with this being in a bilge. We don't really have to worry about UV or anything like that. But we're using white Coosa board. I've got white gel coat. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep this out, sand and round over the edges here, make sure everything's all nice. And we're gonna go ahead and put some gel coat on the fronts of both of these, just so aesthetically it looks good. You'll also notice while I'm handling this, guys, I like to wear gloves because you get a little coarse in your hands and be a little rough there. So we just wanna make sure we're in good shape. And let's see here, probably if I'm do some sanding, move the old coffee out of the way so I don't inhale all of that fiberglass dust. And we'll go ahead and we'll get into this here, guys. Give this thing some quick little sand, shouldn't take much. This is the other nice thing about Coosa board, it rounds over and shapes very quickly and very easily. We're just trying to put a little tooth on it here and make sure that it is good to go. We don't have anything hanging off, nothing rough. We're just taking a couple of minutes here just to make sure we're in good shape. And I'm just using some 80 grit sandpaper here. Like I said, guys, this stuff sands over really, really nicely. And it's really easy to work with. There's a reason I use this for all my projects. When it comes to any structural repairs, anything like that, this stuff just works awesome. I've recored entire decks of boats with it. I've built stringers out of it, engine beds, and as far as I know, 20 plus years later, none of those have failed. So there you go. It's a shameless plug. They're not paying me to use this stuff. It's just my preferred piece of equipment. All right. So it's just that quick and that simple. We've gone ahead, we've got these things knocked out. Now I'm gonna go dig up some cardboard. We'll go ahead and get these things all gel coated up. And again, we're gonna gel coat just the front side of them. We don't care about the back, it's not gonna be seen. The other nice thing here is when we go to install this, because this is Coosa board, we have such a great adhesive with this, with the 610, we're also gonna just take 610 to the back side of this and glue this in place on the boat. So that's actually gonna make it really nice and really strong on the transom to be able to sit there, glue this thing up in place, and then be able to bring the panel in and set it down, and we've got this ledge for it to sit on right there, and then we can land our top two mounts as well, and those are just gonna be little bricks. So let me go find some cardboard and figure out what we're doing next year. All right, so we've gone ahead, we've got the cardboard laid down on here. We've got my gel coat, we've got some MEKP, we've got a little chip brush, some gloves, and we've got the extra blocks as well. They're gonna be mounted on the upper section of this. Just gonna go ahead, we're gonna get those all gel coated up. Like I said, guys, it doesn't need to be gel coated. You could just leave this and run this as it is. I just figure we're here aesthetically. Let's make it look all nice and pretty. So let's make that happen. So I'm gonna stir up this gel coat. It's been sitting a little bit. Now this gel coat, guys, it's a wax added gel coat. That means it will cure on its own. I don't need to put a PVA over top of it or anything like that. It will air dry just fine to a very nice, smooth finish, and you won't get any of that blush or tackiness with it as well. So that's just my preferred method for using gel coat, is to do the wax added, so I don't have to add any wax to it or spray a PVA over top of it or anything like that. But what you need to make sure of is when you're using it, it does settle out, so you gotta make sure you give it a good little stir. Like I said, guys, don't have to use gel coat. You can use a epoxy barrier coat, you can use West System. I'm just a very, very firm believer, and have been for a long time, because prior to this, guys, I was in the coatings and fiberglass side of the house. 2-part paints, 2-part chemicals, whatever they are, whether it's a gel coat, whether it's a West System, whether it's a resin, make sure you're using a 2-part paint for that, or a 2-part coating for that. That way, you know it's going to cure, and it's going to cure hard. When I say a 2-part, that means we're adding a hardener into that chemical to make that happen. We're not relying on just air drying for that. I don't care what the 1-part chemical is. I've used them. I've tried all of them. I've had reps come through and tell me about them back in the day. Every one of them, after they dry, I can take my fingernail to it and chip the damn thing off. Or, things like a bilge coat, things like that, chemicals get on them, gas, oil, whatever, and they start to alligate and pull back up. Really kind of defeats the whole purpose of the coating. So my go-tos are gel coat and white epoxy barrier coat whenever it's coming to things like bilges, engine rooms, things like that. Just very easy to maintain, very easy to clean up, very easy to add another coat to down the road should you need to do it. So that's why I do what I do. There you go. All right, so we've got this all stirred up and thinned up in here, and we got the lid back on. Let's go ahead and let's throw a little splash of this. We're gonna mix it a little warm because it is kind of cool in here, and I want the stuff to kick today. So we're just gonna go ahead and give that a little splashy splash right there. A couple extra drops just for some love and luck. And stir this bad Larry back up. Now it's MEKP, that's methyl ethyl ketone peroxide. It's the extra good stuff. Don't get it on your skin, it burns. We're not using any patch aid or anything like this. This gel coat is actually thin enough for what we needed to do, and yet thick enough also for what we need to do. If you start thinning this out too much on the Coosa board here, guys, it's just not going to fill very nicely, and it's going to be too thin. So again, I'm not trying to win any contest with this. I'm just trying to get this thing coated up and closed up so it looks all nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and slather this thing all up here and get this all nice. Get the edges, get the bottom, and just kind of brushing it on, guys. It will absorb in. There will be pinholes. That is this board, that is this material. Is normal. It's okay. All right, so just like that, we've gone ahead, we've brushed that all on there. Like I said, we're not trying to win any prizes with it. We just want it to be nice and white and clean and looking all pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, looks like I missed a couple of spots. I'm gonna go ahead and touch those up. We'll let that cure out, and then we'll take all this over to the boat, start figuring out where it's all gonna land, and then I'm gonna show you another reason why I used Coosa board instead of starboard for these mounts in aiding in how to mount this. So let's go run over the boat and see what's next. All right, guys, so we are now back on board the boat. It's winter time here in New England right now. It is a Sunday. I've gone ahead, I've had to put a little makeshift kind of shrink wrap tent above us here. I've got my oil-filled heater here behind me, keeping this engine space back here warm enough so that we can work, because we are going to be doing some gluing on of these parts that we've just made. Now, you saw me go ahead, we've already made those parts up. We've got them all wired up. They're kind of bulky and they're kind of heavy. Now, we could come in here and maybe two people, you can kind of hold it in place and figure out where you want to mount it. I'm flying solo here, guys, so in order to make it a little bit easier, I had some MDF laying around, stuff short money to go ahead and buy, and I've made a template of each of these spots here. So what I can do then is I can take that template and I can go ahead right here like this and go ahead and figure out just exactly where it is on the transom I want to mount it. And as we look here, we do have wires running underneath, or rather behind, this board. So we're not going to reroute those, and that's part of the reason we've made those brackets and those standoffs you saw me talking about before. We've got these guys right here, and they're going to stand off of the transom area, and that's going to allow the wires to run behind, again, keeping everything nice and clean. So we can use that MDF, mark up where it is, kind of mock it up, make sure it all looks good, get everything lined up. As you can see here, I've already started to kind of mark it and grind it all off. Just real simple, guys. I've just got a drill with a little whizzer wheel on it, little green disc on here thing, just to clean it up. We're not going for, oh my God, perfect. We don't have to get everything gone. We just got to get it good and cleaned up here so we know exactly where it's all going to land and make sure we have good adhesion. Now, another reason we're not just taking these brackets right here, or rather why we made these brackets right here and not just taking something like this board, is I don't want to just screw the board to the transom. It's a non-cord boat. It is just straight fiberglass, and I don't need to go ahead and poke holes into that. I don't want to do it. It just, if you don't need to do it, don't do it. So we can go ahead with this and some West System 610, and we can glue these things and epoxy them in place. Now we've got a great chemical bond onto this, and we've not put any holes into the boat while we're doing it. I realize it sounds a little odd. We're putting underwater lights in, which means we're putting holes in. But those are holes we need to put in to get wires through, and they're going to be well sealed. But anytime we don't have to penetrate into the hull, let's avoid it. Let's just, you know, it's an easier thing to do. So that's why we made these brackets. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get these all scuffed up, get this all prepped out and ready for install. And then I'm gonna show you guys a couple little tips if you're flying solo, even if you're not flying solo, on how to get these things installed, make sure they land where you want them, and keep everything nice, tidy, and neat. And maybe you already know it, maybe you don't, but let's get after it, guys, and let's go get to it. All right, guys, so now we've got that all ground out. We kind of marked everything up. You know, I joke a lot of times and say it's arts and crafts time, guys. Well, here's the thing. We've gone ahead, we've made the board, we've got our blocks here, so we know exactly where they're gonna land. And what I've done is taken the old handy dandy glue gun here. Now this is gonna be crucial for all of this. But what I've done is I've just done a couple of small dabs on each one of these, and that's gonna hold this in place, get it lined up exactly how we want it when we go to put this on board here. Go ahead and see, we can land that, and now everything's gonna be exactly where we want it, and we can make sure everything stays nice and true and clean and all that happy fun stuff. So we've got that going on right there. So now our next step here, guys, is load up the old caulk gun here with the 610, get that stuff all loaded up on here, and we still got one more trick up our sleeve when it comes to doing this, because if you've ever worked with 610 or any epoxies of that kind, they do take a little bit of time to set. And that's where we're gonna have another little handy helper tip here for you guys that I don't think enough people know about, and it's just really easy, and it speeds up the job a lot when you're doing this. So let's get after it. Let's get some 610 down on here and see what else is good. All right, with the 610 all loaded up and the tip on there, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting this spread on here. And again, we're not building structural boats here, so this doesn't have to be, oh my God, obscene amounts here, but we do want to make sure we get enough spread out on there. So go ahead, we load that all up on there like that. That'll be plenty. Go ahead and keep doing that across the board here. Make sure that we've got enough. And like I said, guys, the stuff is awesome. We just don't have, it just doesn't dry quick enough for what we are trying to do. So go ahead and put a little extra right in there. That is where Arts and Crafts Part 2.0 kicks in here, guys. Put the caulk gun down. Glue gun works really good temporarily holding this in place, and will also make a really nice dam so that the epoxy doesn't go below it. So let's go ahead and get this thing all glued up here and make this happen. Nothing fancy here, guys. Just trying to get a little on there so that it'll help with the adhesion process and keep things in place for us. This is high strength glue. It does have some characteristics to it, I guess, to hold it in place. But then we just take that, spin her around, make sure we've got our orientation right, slam this guy back on home. And now, all we have to do is hold this thing in place for a short period of time instead of a long period of time. So we're going to go ahead and let that flash off for a minute with the hot glue, and then we'll get on the other one. So there you go. Just like that, you can see we've got this all mocked up on here, held it in place for, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds or so. But you can see now we've got this in place. We'll let that west system go ahead and cure out 24 hours. I can come back on here then, pop this off. Now my brackets are all in place, and I can land our starboard piece with all of the underwater light controllers and our trim tab bracket right there. We can run the wires down. We've got already landed right here, ready to go. We've also got our trim tab hoses. We're gonna be able to bring those right down. Our underwater lights are all gonna be able to land right here. It's gonna make it really nice and simple. Now we've got that one done. Let's turn around and let's get to work on this other one.